Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to QuickBooks Labs podcast, the only podcast in the UK that gather around microphones to talk all about the world of QuickBooks Online. So we've got a really exciting show for you today. But first of all, Simon, do you want to introduce yourself, tell people who you are, why people should be excited about listening to your comments on QuickBooks Online?
Who am I? I am Simon. I am the software advisory manager at Wilkinson Smith, as everyone knows who's come to the podcast for the last since the beginning of the year, in fact. It's only two of us today. It is literally, it's the, I don't know what you call ourselves, the dream duo or something like that.
I mean, we can work with it, yeah.
Well, let's stick with it. Yeah, I mean, we've got a little, it might be a short and sweet show, but we've got some good things to talk about, I think, or things that we might hope to see in the UK. I think that's the way we're going to structure today, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely more of a light on updates, but we have some, let's call it a wish list. Let's see if we can, because we know QuickBooks themselves watch this. We know that they are intrigued about what we have to say about some of their updates and everything else. So yeah, let's have a watch list. Quickly go through the rigmarole. So we are live to the world at our regular time of 4:30 UK time. So if you're listening to this back at a later time, then why not think about joining us live? That way you can get involved with the show, ask us any questions and keep us honest. Furthermore, we are live on the podcasting services around the globe, so feel free to subscribe on your podcasting service of choice. Tune in every month for a dose of financial inspiration about the world of QuickBooks. So hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Now, first and foremost, before we go any further, this is our last show in this current format. We're having a whole new glow up. I think that's what people call it these days, isn't it? Having a nice glow up. And our idea going forward is we want to try and make it more focused on those updates that are coming through. We've heard you loud and clear. There's not much out there in terms of what updates are there in QuickBooks Online. I mean, it's a nice little YouTube channel that you might want to head over to called Aaron Patch's QuickBooks Chat. But apart from that, there's no way really pushing the updates that come in. So we're going to make it laser focused going forward. We're going to change things around a little bit, move things over, and really focus on what updates are coming. So look forward to that next week. But this is our next month, I should say. But this is our last kind of more general QuickBooks Labs one. So we'll go off it with a bang because we've got some right good news to talk about. One of them actually happened today. We got a nice little email come through. What I'll do is quickly find the email. It was, wasn't it? I mean, that's the sort of email you want, really, isn't it? When you've got the opportunity to kind of see what's coming through. But basically, whilst I try and find the email itself, QuickBooks Practice Manager has now been or will be available to us for free of charge. So for anyone who doesn't know QuickBooks Practice Manager, that's the one that, or the solution they announced at QuickBooks Connect 2023. It's quite a good reception, to be honest. It was one of those moments where we had the opportunity to kind of see what QuickBooks had in store for us in terms of updates of that 2023 one, and they just hit it out of the park. And one of them was Practice Manager itself. Safe to say that I think it's been a slow start to QuickBooks Practice Manager in terms of uptake and everything else, but I think giving it away for free. Did it say on the email how long for? I can't find it at the moment. I'm looking for the email itself, but did they say for? Yeah,
it just said we may change the prices at a later date.
Oh,
which sounds more like we've got lots of stuff we want to do with Practice Manager, but we don't know what we're doing yet, or what their priority is yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, if they said it was free and they said, "Oh, it's free," if they said, "Oh, it's just free," forever, people, and they change the price, we kick off. But at least they've left it in there to say we reserve the right to put the prices back on when we think it's relevant, which is fair.
I can't imagine it will be free forever. I mean, it is the product itself, in my opinion, maybe is lacking in a practice management solution. That's, I still feel like to get to a practice management solution, there's a lot of work to be done. But as a task management solution, you can't really ask for anything else, can you? I mean, especially if you live in the QuickBooks world, they now have that holistic view where you're getting data just being drawn out of each and every client. That's got to be worth switching it on. Well, it's free now anyway, but jumping in anyway, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah. If everything's on QuickBooks, why would you not use it? Like, where else are you doing your workflow management?
Exactly.
Or if you are, you've got another app you're paying for. Well, now shift it all for free, or have it all in one place. That's what I mean. Isn't that what we're supposed to? But that's the in thing at the moment. Get rid of all the apps and come into one place.
Yeah.
Make your lives easy.
App fatigue at the moment, isn't it? That everyone's talking about. So this is an opportunity to not have app fatigue. I mean, where they position it at the moment, Practice Manager, it's still got that great feature that you can bring in your emails. So for smaller practices, that could be a absolute lifesaver, bringing that in. There's opportunity to sign accounts and get signatures come through. You've got the opportunity to send documents to clients. Still, my bugbear, and maybe I'm being old-fashioned here, but I still much prefer a nice client portal that a client can log in and get themselves. But the way this handles it is you send those links, don't you? And then they can access it via links and all that sort of stuff. So it's a different take on it. But is or could this become at some point the equivalent to a DEX position and everything else? Because now they've got that connection to the client, which is the only system in the world that can do that, because everything else you have to individually connect each one. But this is the idea that you bring that data in. Can it get as far as DEX position, do you think? Is there enough there?
It could, but then I think if you're going to go DEX position, and we have used DEX position, is that you've got to then have the integrations that other, like DEX position can do Xero, QuickBooks, and unlinked clients, so it just pulls data from company's house. Yeah. So you've got to be able to connect it to multiple platforms. So, but if you're going to go down that route, if you lived in the QuickBooks world, then yes. Why shouldn't it be able to, like, oh, here's your VAT return workflow. Right, by the way, we've pulled the VAT return figures into just the workflow for you to start. That was it, Smart Scan? Let's just source some of that Smart Scan data direct in your workflow. Or the person reviewing that work never has to actually go into QuickBooks at all. That's the ideal world, isn't it?
Yeah, because the bit that we played with Practice Manager when it first came out, during the trial period and everything else, we tried to implement it in our practice. And in fairness to QuickBooks at the time, we were jumping in when it wasn't fully ready. Like there were still some bits, it was still there. And I know even now looking in, it's a lot better. And when I've trained it and looked at it from creating videos and all that sort of stuff, it's a much better product. That whole holistic view is just cherry on the top, really. But its strongest bit that it had even from day one was its deep link technology. So the idea that you could create a task, and on that task you could say, go clear a bank rec, for example, and you could actually put the link for that client's bank rec directly there. So they clicked it, they went in, off to the races. And part of me thinks that if they nail that, if they can just concentrate on those workflows, concentrate on those bits, then that's where it doesn't matter what practice management solution you may already be using. If they can do that, then that makes it the task management solution that will probably be and probably be better than any other practice management solution out there because of that deep link technology, right? Like the idea that your team member isn't having to second guess what client it is or jump in between all the different clients. They're literally just clicking on the link straight to that area, get it updated, and then best of all, the dashboard itself updates automatically because it's all connected to the same ecosystem. So I feel like now that it's free for now, if they really focus on that task management area, I think it will just be a solution that every accountant that uses QuickBooks will want to use.
It would make sense to. Even like I said, like even from the task management side, why would you not put your tasks in there? But if you're not, where else are you putting them at the moment? In your calendar, in your Outlook, or some Trello board or something like that? Just this, while it's free, stick them in here.
Yeah, exactly. And for anyone who's out there who hasn't got any practice management solution, this is perfect.
Well, then you definitely should. Yeah.
This is better than any Excel spreadsheet you'll ever make in your life.
It's even down to like things like you might not have, you've got your your client list, put your prospects in there. That way you've got all that information in there, so you can start building some of that stuff out. Yes, it needs more integration into, I don't know, like if you're using Go Proposal or something like that. I know we're talk about things we'd like to see, but as you said, that's part of that suite of things, isn't it? Having a proposal solution, right? We need that integrated into there, so it can then go, right, this is the work we've won, right? These are the workflows, cool, done. Which is what other apps are doing.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got connections with Zama, so there's your AML solution there, which we use Armour. Highly recommend it. I think it works really well.
I mean, they've got the Zapier one, so you can do stuff, but then it relies on other. So like we've looked to go proposal and Zapier, just can't get the right information, and that's not
frustrating.
That's a go proposal problem, not a Zapier problem. That's just what they've allowed to be zapped, so to speak, which is frustrating. But the more hopefully they'll open that more and more and more. But then obviously, WhatsApp have opened, or what Meta have opened up their API now, and we're seeing lots more integrating with WhatsApp for chat. Why can't that? You've got your email clients and stuff in here. Why can't that point to WhatsApp channels in the future?
Yeah, that is a really good point, actually. Yeah. Bringing that over. They've brought letter of engagement as well, which is new. That's there now. I'm surprised that wasn't already in the, from day one, but it is, been brought in. So I feel like there's enough there, isn't there? There's enough to, as a free product, it's, it was perfect. The only thing that was holding it back before was its very strange pricing structure. I felt like that was holding it back because for the smaller practices, it was too expensive. And then for the larger practices, we weren't going to utilize enough of it to justify the price, right? Even though it wasn't priced too badly, but it's there. So
yeah, what was it, 70 quid for 100 clients or something? Wasn't that?
Yeah,
it wasn't overly expensive, but
compare that to the competition against other practice management solutions. Yeah, it was a lot more compared to them. So I feel like this could be the opportunity for it to, go out there and get some user, because that's what it needs, right? It needs more people using it so people can come back and go from there, and then they can start charging later down the line because it'll be full feature.
You've got to have 5 QBO licenses to get for free.
Oh, is that one of the conditions? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, which I think is absolutely fair. I think that's
most people would have 5, right?
Yeah, compare that to what does Zero? What do you need for Zero? Is it to unlock theirs? Isn't it like 20 or something to get the full feature parity for them? To get work papers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's you have to be a certain level, don't you? Silver, gold, or platinum. So
that's it. Yeah. So I think this is I'm really happy with this. I think this will give it that lease of life it needs. I think everyone out there should be trying it out, figuring out if they can make it work. If you've already got practice management, look at in conjunction with your practice management solution. Look at it purely as a task management. I think you want to win it personally.
We as well. That's
a good point. Yeah,
you might just have it for your bookkeeping department to do your tasks.
Exactly. Because it's perfect for bookkeeping, right? Like running a bookkeeping solution, you can't ask for much more. This is what Dexposition really gives you, isn't it? And more in depth than Dexposition can because of the API issues and everything else that goes with it. So
don't get me wrong, Dexposition is good, but it has struggled with the QuickBooks API.
It's much better on Zero, isn't it?
It's much better on Zero, yeah. Precision and Zero work much better. But maybe this is if they start doing some of that stuff, then maybe that is, we shall see.
I'm excited because I feel like Practice Manager it released, not enough people got hold of it, so there wasn't enough updates come in, and I feel like now that's it's taking it to the next level, which is what we want. So go out there, have a play around with it, come through it, and let's I'm definitely going to be looking to bring it back into Bofix now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make it work. Right, cool. So that is practice management becoming free, which we love to see. A few quick updates from US just to kind of give us a bit of an opportunity to think what could be coming in the future. One of them was an update to the dashboard. If I'm completely honest with you, I don't see what these updates are. They're claiming that there's a new unified home view in QuickBooks Online. In a nutshell, your client's default view in QuickBooks Online now has a more streamlined layout. In dashboards, a new tab called Home combined the previous Get Things Done and Business Overview. So I feel like in a rare turn of events, USA are catching up to UK again. So I feel like we've had that for a long time.
Yeah, so I know I hadn't noticed it until today when I went into QuickBooks and did some stuff on QuickBooks, which I don't usually get involved in setting up licenses.
Yep.
But when I logged in one of our many licenses, and I was like, oh, we've got lots more. They seem to port everything together onto that home screen now. So you've got all your tasks, your mileage, and all that sort of stuff on that home screen, and then the planner is separate, as in planner, as in your cash flow planner. Yeah, and they've also got that now, the widget that says like link your bank and things like that straight away. So it has seemed to have brought that all together, sort of like, right, if you're going to start, this is what we're going to start doing now. So I think that's more what it means. There wasn't a lot of detail behind what they said, was there? It's like, oh, we've done it. Well, great. What exactly do you mean? So you just got that one home button now. What was just looking at the default? It was the first tile is like, right, come on, you've not done anything yet. Link your bank accounts. Then obviously there's P&L, expenses, invoices, sales, accounts payable, etc., etc. And then the shortcuts widgets and tasks further down. But you can then you've got a bit more customization around that. You can't build the widgets anymore. Remember before you used to be able to build the widgets?
Yeah. So if you go in. I can share screen. Actually, it might be the easiest way to do it.
I won't share screen on this one, but this license doesn't allow you to build widgets anymore.
Because maybe it's because I'm in advanced. I'm still getting the option to, but let me just.
It might be. Maybe they'd put that behind a. We're talking about updates. They might have moved that up a level because this is only an essentials license.
Yeah.
So I wonder if at the same time they said, well, if you want to customize your dashboard and build your own widgets, it's a plus or an advanced thing.
Oh, that's not worked. There we are. Okay, so in here now, customize layout. But you're right. It's gone.
It's gone. So there's an update we did not know about.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that. Well, maybe it's because it's not ready yet. If I just go to the US one, we're going to be looking at the US one more often. I know it's gone in the US one as well. Okay.
Yeah, so that ability to build your own KPI and say, actually, I want to see my profit by project or department or your tracking calc, that's gone.
It's completely gone, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't. They've moved it. It used to be on the home screen. Go to your reports.
Oh, you still get the option to add it from there, do you?
So go reports and performance center.
And we can add one from here.
And then you add one from there.
And create your comment,
etc., etc.
Export widget.
So that's the thing. It used to be on the home page as well. They've taken them off the home page completely, and they're now all under the performance center for your custom widgets. Add new chart, for instance.
Oh yeah, because now we've got the ratio. Is it though? Let's have a look.
Yeah, then you get your group by class, location, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh, add to dashboard, but that's this dashboard though, isn't it?
Yes, but they used to be the same. You used to be able to do between the both. Now you can't.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Okay.
It's a shame because some of those things that are on that performance dashboard, you'd want on that home.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there used to be the option to bring in things like the My App section, wasn't it? And then take that back out again if you need to and stuff like that. So,
well, My App is now at the top under your 9 squares.
Yeah, but we used to be able to take that in and out though, if you wanted to, didn't you? That's interesting. I can only imagine they're bringing that back though, because that's the sort of feature where you want to have that customized. Because if I delete one, how do I bring it back? So I get rid of this profit and loss. It's gone.
It's under your top bar. If you scroll up. Oh, you haven't got the option I've got.
So I can't get that back now. It's gone.
I've got an add or remove widgets button.
Yeah, so that's what I was looking for, because that's what I remember seeing. It was next here, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. I've got that option. So clearly the update is being rolled out as we speak, right? And you've got half of it, and I've got the other half.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I love the fact that we do have the option to edit shortcuts. That's definitely new, so we can add some more in if we want to. I think for us, we don't use the shortcuts button, do we? Because we probably would just jump straight to the new button. I think for new clients,
and also it's very much like QuickBooks Desktop used to have the little pictures of flows. This is how we, these are the steps you do to get from your sales.
That was amazing, wasn't it? That little flow. Yeah. Which you can replicate in the desktop app for QuickBooks, can't you?
And things like Intact, for instance, Sage Intact, I know we've gone on a tangent, have that in there as well. They have that flow, and Sage was very good at having those very late, or the later releases of desktop had that flow of this is what you need to do to get to there, which was and obviously that's in Business Cloud as well. For those people that aren't accountants, so they can just follow the flow. So that might be something we see coming in, especially on the shortcuts, definitely, or advanced or something like that.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? The next update I've got from the US, I think, is also something we've already got, because they've been told that they're getting flexibility and control of how their billing option for QuickBooks clients works. And they go into talking about how they now have the option to do subscription and billing page in QuickBooks Online. We've moved things around and make things easier to manage. And now you can see your payroll in there as well. So I think they're just getting the same as us. I don't think it's actually an update that for once, we've had the update first, and it looks like they're getting it later. So fair play on that one. I mean, that's they still have the option, a little bit different to us, of going in and they get to do some sort of revenue share option as well, which did appear in our area for a while, but kind of disappeared again. So yeah, we'll see if that comes through.
We'll stay clear of revenue sharing, I think. It's just let's not do that in the UK.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think it would just complicate things too much, wouldn't it?
It complicates things, and it complicates clients and all sorts in that. So
one thing I do like about the US, though, is they're bringing MailChimp discounts for clients through the ProAdvisor program. I think we don't talk about MailChimp at the moment too much, because it's not really a UK product yet. It's still got localization to come through, but I know they're working massively. That's a massive part that they want to bring in, is MailChimp to be a UK product to come forward. But I just feel like once we have the opportunity to offer it as a discount, I think that's going to be a huge part for QuickBooks accountants are going to have a really good bow, extra arrow in their arsenal at that point, because that's a huge win for them, right? Like the opportunity to be able to
I think there's a lot of
MailChimp.
Yeah, but also we need you don't just want accountants going, oh, you've got MailChimp. They need to have some sort of knowledge of marketing potentially and how it works. That might be the only.
That's very wise. Yeah. But I know that training's coming for it. Part of the training network, I know that we're actively looking for trainers for MailChimp. So hopefully that means that we'll at least train to understand the product, even if it's just. But I still feel like, for me, the whole Intuit Assist and that coming forward and everything else, as excited I am for QuickBooks to get Intuit Assist, still feel like MailChimp.
I think MailChimp is the bigger player in the Assist, especially like that's more going to be, we're not going to use it as accountants. We're not going to be the ones doing the marketing for our clients. It'll be the client using it that, again, may 90% of the time won't have a degree in marketing. They're going to need that prompt. And it's just depending on how they structure that AI assist to help them out. There's lots of ethics and stuff around that they need to be careful with as well, probably.
Yeah, 100%. But if they do
having it in the platform, why would you not?
Yeah. And it gives us, we're constantly looking for ways to keep relevant, right? And if we have an opportunity to be able to assist clients in being better at, selling products or whatever the AI can help generate. Like, that's got to be a good thing for us, hasn't it?
Yep.
Like, overall, that's got to give us a better, we'll end up with a better relationship with clients, right? By recommending a product that we think is going to help them.
You also potentially go, okay, we're doing a marketing campaign, we sent it to 300 people, 200 people have clicked on it. And it was on X product, for instance. Can it then feed back into like your forecasting? You go, oh yeah, 200 people clicked on it. Yeah, your hit rate might be 50%. Therefore, this product, 50 lots of that, put that into your forecast and build that back the other way.
Exactly.
Start doing all that stuff.
If you did sell 200 of these, you might need to think about getting a new member of staff in, or temporary, or or subcontractor or something. That's where we can bring value to it, isn't it?
Information back into your financial planning, as we're looking at that on the left-hand side.
Yeah. I generally think, I think that's something that none of the other products can give, right? Like Xero, Sage, Free Agent, they don't have anything like that. So I feel like that could be that USP that QuickBooks really need at the moment to drive those sales, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Next bit of news. So we're going to stay away from the US for now. In fact, we don't need the share screen option. So Intuit are on the sleeve of a football team, West Ham. So before this, there was what was the partnership beforehand? It was a training kit partner or something like that? There was some sort of connection last year, wasn't there? But this year that's been extended to a sleeve partner. QuickBooks Intuit going to be on the actual sleeve of West Ham. That's got to be a good thing, right? Like, that's got to be a nice little.
They're back in there in the Premier League, so they'll be seen again. I mean, a while back, I don't know how many years ago it was now, probably 10 years ago. What was it? It was West Brom. They were on the front of Aston Villa,
and then Aston Villa,
which is an interesting switch if you're into football, going from one West Midlands team to another. But I mean, it's just getting, obviously they've had Frank Lampard in the recent adverts as well. Obviously, ex West Ham or ex Chelsea ties in quite nicely. It's just getting the name out, brand out again, isn't it? Just be interested to see what they do with it, really.
And I know Xero did really well with their rugby and the women's football, and they've done really clever use of the funds, right? And they've put it out there. But being on a sleeve of Premier League team is a whole different level, isn't it? That's a huge investment, and it's not just been the sleeve, because West Ham's put out a video and they've pushed, there's some content out there.
Video for everything. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the content yet, but if you haven't, do go out and watch it, where basically in the dressing room of a West Ham team is a load of small businesses, right? And the idea is it's Jay's dad, for anyone who's watched In-Betweeners, giving a pep talk to them about going out there and smashing it, basically. And I think that's brilliant, and I think that's a really that's going to be a really clever collaboration going forward, because they're the sort of ones that get people interested, isn't it? Like, that's the sort of thing that people get excited about, those sort of things.
Yeah, because it's been going on for 6 months now. They started the partnership, I think March time, was it?
The original partnership. At least, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to watch. I think watch that space, see what they do with the small businesses, like carrying on with those guys. Because I know, all the events, they use some of the small businesses, don't they, for their food stands and all that sort of stuff. So I think it builds on from that, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So I think that's one. I might have to get myself a nice little West Ham kit. I mean, I'm not a West Ham fan, everyone knows that, but
not in a million years am I wearing a West Ham kit.
You're not going down that route, are you?
No.
I mean, I'm a Derby fan, so I can be as fickle as I want, can't I? Really, I've got that opportunity.
I definitely can't wear a West Ham kit.
Just give it a try. You might like it. You know what I mean? No, it's not gonna happen. Awesome. So I think that's came out of nowhere in terms of the announcement and everything else, but that's that is proper levels, I think, and I'm really excited to see what's coming up with that one. The next one,
they did say it was pioneering. I'm not quite sure what's going to be that's the bit we want to find out, isn't it? What's the pioneering part of said partnership? That was the headline.
Yeah. So when you think about it, and I don't know if it's a similar comparison, but at Accountex there was Wallets, isn't it? And they have a partnership, a proper partnership with McLaren. And the reason that they kind of got everyone's attention during Accountex was they were dressed in the McLaren uniform. They had a McLaren Lego car there. They had all this McLaren branding everywhere, and the papaya was absolutely everywhere on it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I'll always remember, because we went over to talk to him during one of the social content that we took. And one thing that I'll always remember that they said was that it's a true partnership. Like, the reason they're allowed to wear the McLaren kit and do all that sort of stuff is because McLaren are using their technology properly and actually, improving their performance and everything else because they're using it and, making things easier and all that sort of stuff. So is this what they're trying to do? Are they trying to be more of a strategic partner to West Ham as opposed just as shirt sponsor? We don't know.
But first time ever I've gone to West Ham's website.
Yeah.
I've never normally gone to West Ham's website. This is the bit, I think. So obviously QuickBooks get a load of advertising space, right? Now they're the shirt sponsor. What they're going to be doing is giving that away to small businesses in the East End of London.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. I get it now.
Very, right. So, all those billboards around advertising hoardings and stuff like that. Mr. whoever it might be down the road with their bagel shop or something, if they're using QuickBooks, probably going into a pot, you can advertise at the next West Ham game.
That's actually,
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working with a number of new initiatives with champions, sole traders, and SMBs at the heartbeat of East London community. So
that's wicked.
Sounds like they're working, doing a lot of local community stuff with that as well.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, and that is pioneering, right? Like, that is completely different. So, that's wicked. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yes, that's cool.
Cool. We love that. Next bit of news, QuickBooks was in the social media news for all the wrong reasons this week or month or everything else. Hashtag slowbook and pop-ups galore and everything else that comes with it. I think really from our point of view, it was just one of those things where these updates happen. It gets kind of taken out of control, because if you go and look at from a Xero point of view, they had a load of issues and errors and problems as well. I think it's just one of those things at the moment, isn't it, where the software is so advanced, so every now and again there's going to be some problems. I think we've just got to deal with it, and I think this is inherently the problem with cloud technology, isn't it? Like, this is one of the downsides. All the positives we get from cloud technology is that how accessible it is and how easy it is to set up and how you can access it from anywhere. But the downside is that we're going to get these teething problems from time to time, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's not just QuickBooks. QuickBooks being slow it wasn't affecting everyone either.
No,
like, it is what it is, and like you said, Xero had some major problems last month as well, where you couldn't even log in. Or you could log in, but then you couldn't actually see your client list, but you could still kind of get to your clients. So as you said, if it's cloud-based, that is
inherently the problem, isn't it?
Inherently the problem. If you've got a desktop computer with everything stored on, and unless you have a power cut or your computer bursts into flames, in theory you can get the data, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I know Kirsty's in the room, so we'll bring up the pop-up situation.
So just out of interest, today, instant report for Xero. People can't access it because this is due to them updating something. That's what it's about. Updates cause problems, and that's why they're rolled out not at the same time for everyone. Yeah,
exactly right. Exactly. Which maybe going forward, maybe there's a solution to not have the updates just all at the same time. Maybe that could be something that could come in. We'll see.
Yep, correct.
When it comes to the pop-up, though, it's quite ironic mine to come up like this. Your trial expires today. Coming through there. I can guarantee my trial doesn't expire today. But this has definitely caused a bit of hoobaloo. This pop-up here seems to be completely random. It was telling me on another client that I should reconnect my bank. And I know what has upset people is sometimes it pops up to say that you're why not try adding a new accountant? Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? Like, obviously someone's clicked the wrong button somewhere to allow this to happen to everyone. Like, it's not looking at the actual client file or looking at the parameters of the client file to know if that's should be showing this particular message today or not. Yeah, I think they're the sort of things we've got, isn't it? Yeah, we've just got to, I think they just need to take this on the chin as QuickBooks and find a way to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen, because it does tarnish the brand, doesn't it? These sort of silly mistakes like this. So
I mean, we've been quite lucky. We've not had one single pop-up.
Oh, really?
That's what I mean, as in it's completely random.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why some people are getting it, some people aren't. It's
odd, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I mean, this random one here about your trial expires today, you just ignore it, right? Like, no one likes pop-ups anyway. And it is kind of frustrating as well, isn't it? Because a lot of people are saying that they are not getting enough notifications about new updates and everything else. So you can see that they're trying to put this in. Yeah. And then if that was a practice managers now free, go use it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Boom. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knows about it. Everyone can start using it and everyone can get excited about it. But yeah. And that's a new type of pop-up, isn't it? So there's obviously, they're trialing new things to how do we tell people about these new features? Because I don't think this notification bell's ever properly worked. And you'd expect that to be the place where those updates are going to go. Nothing to see here, but there's been lots of updates. You know, like, they're still trying to find the best way to tell people about these.
Under the belt. I mean, I think it's personal preference as well, like how you want to receive your updates. Some people, like I said, some people like a big pop-up. I'd rather just have a little bell thing. If it's just
especially for people like us who have to go into hundreds of files a week or month, you know what I mean? Like, we're going through different ones. Having that same pop-up come up can be frustrating, can't it? So don't know the answer, but I think feeding those sort of responses is not the best way. I mean, as Kirsty says here, the one about an accountant was the other day. Today it's been changing all my columns on the supply screen. It's been offering me advance a few times. Yeah, I keep getting the one about you should upgrade to advance. And ironically, this is an advance file, but yeah, these things happen. Cool. All right. Let's quickly move on then to, let's look at what QuickBooks US have versus what QuickBooks UK has, and see if there's any opportunity for us to spot anything that we think, let me get this right, that we think we can bring over, or we would love to see, should I say, in the UK product. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there is one element. So for everyone who can see this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. But on the left-hand side is the UK product. On the right-hand side is the US product. And the reason I want to bring this in is because if I went to the sales section, in the UK, we get overview all sales invoice customers. In the US, we get overview all sales invoice payment links, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Customers, product and services has been put somewhere differently. But if I go to customers and I click into the US one, and then I'll click into the UK one as well. But over here, we get transaction list, statements, projects, customer details, and notes. In the US, we get transaction list, statements, and recurring transactions out there, just there. Now, recurring transactions is one of those ones I've been begging for about 5 years now to have in on here. For anyone who uses recurring transactions at all, the idea of recurring transactions is, as what it says on the tin, you can set it to automatically start recurring transactions. So if you've got, say, like we have in the accounting industry a lot, where you get monthly invoices going out at the same time each month, especially when you connect it with Go Cardless, really attractive. You have the opportunity to go in and, you know, set your recurring invoice to automatically come on the first, go out there, submit it, go out there, collect the money for you. Great solution. We love recurring transactions. But at the moment, it's a bit of a mess in terms of trying to get to go with them. At the moment, it's kind of hidden under the transaction page. You click on there, then you've got to try and find your recurring transaction. And it's all a bit of a mess in terms of if you want to go and update one or stop one from running or anything like that. Now that in the US, we have the opportunity to do recurring transactions here, means that you can go in and just edit, delete, stop, pause, whatever you need to do directly from the customer screen. I think is absolutely brilliant. Oh, and what's this? Update layout as well. What that one is. But while it's doing that, what do you think, Simon? Is that something that we need in the UK or not?
Yes, because to get to the way it is at the moment in the UK, as you said, is a bit of a pain. But politely, you know, you can get.
Pain, isn't it?
I mean, at least you've got. I mean, you don't have to go to the cog anymore at the top to get to recurring transactions or go to transactions. You can do it from inside the customer, but it then just takes you straight to that long list, right? So if you're in your customer in the UK, you can still click on go to view recurring transactions, but you just get that massive long list. Which,
especially like in look at Boffix,
and
right?
You don't know because the template name is the template name, not
exactly
the customer name.
Exactly. And we've had it before where we've thought we've stopped someone from receiving templates going forward. We thought we've deleted them. We thought they've stopped. And then next month they've got another one. And how, like, from a simple issue, how much damage can that do? You know, when you're accidentally invoicing someone when they shouldn't have been invoiced, or you invoice someone incorrectly, or, you know, and we've put so many controls in place at Boffix. Like, we're trying to keep on top of that as much as we possibly can. But just something as simple of having that recurring transactions there, I can just go straight to the customer, straight to recurring transaction, and just make sure they're correct. It seems
exactly.
like
Also being able to make it like you can, like you said, you win a customer and you go, right, that one's always going to be billed this month. Cool, go into the customer, just do it.
Yeah. I did notice as well on theirs, they get an opportunity to include unbilled charges directly in there as well. So that could actually be, and that's something we don't have, and we've never had that one.
No.
What I think that could be useful for is if you use things like delayed charges and things like that, and, you know, billable expenses and everything else, if you then apply them directly to a customer. So in the accounting world, maybe it is that you've just submitted their confirmation statement, for example. If you then put that in as a delayed charge, my assumption is include unbilled charges. Hopefully it's delayed charge as well. Or if you put it as an unbilled charge, whichever way you're going to do it. But my assumption is that next time that it raises an invoice, it will grab that unbilled charge and just put it straight on the invoice for you.
Yeah, because we get the pop out, don't we, from the right hand side?
Yeah.
The charge, but yeah, maybe that one will just automatically include it. Don't know.
It seems like a stretch, right? But if that's the case, that's actually pretty cool. That could actually be could open up quite a lot of useful workflows and work cases and everything else, couldn't it, in terms of just streamlining.
You know, there's a lot of customers that have, you know, dispersible expenses. They don't use the, you know, bill it to this customer or project. They don't.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will still be going to a report going, oh, what's in my recharges code I've posted everything to, and then they're manually doing it. Whereas that little tick box and just having that will just be, why would you not?
Simple, right? Yeah. They also have late fees over in the US. We kind of looked at this already when we looked at the Solopreneur product. So works exactly the same as there. And they just have a whole tab there for the late fees to be there. Seems like a no-brainer really to have it there if you're going to bring it in. Do we want it in the UK? Is that a priority? I don't know.
It's something that used to always existed on Sage 50.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're coming from Sage 50, that it's one of those little used things again that people will be stuck on. I'll say stuck on Sage 50. I'm not going to say that because it has its place. That might be, you know, considering moving to QuickBooks and go, oh, but I use this one feature that I use all the time. It's little things like that might be things that stop you from switching.
I imagine it's the reason we don't have it yet is because we're waiting on the new invoice layout. So this is that new experience that we looked at again, which I think we all agree on is a nice update, right? Because the idea here is we see exactly what the client sees. We're we're building this exactly how they can. Plan and release it.
I hope they don't. I hope we don't get that wording that says "see the math." I hope
Oh yeah, yeah. But is that because though it's
although it does,
in the US?
I like the idea of saying this customer is not tax exempt, or this customer's out. That'd be quite cool. Why is that invoice? You've raised an invoice to someone in the EU, or why is there no VAT on it?
Yeah.
By the way, because they're outside, blah blah blah. That's quite cool. But yeah, but obviously we talk about VAT in a minute.
Yeah, but I think this is definitely coming at some point. Do we need it to come straight away?
I would say
if I had a choice. Sorry, go for it.
Pay your view. Sorry, I thought it said pay view. That's kind of what you could see that, couldn't you, when you send the emails kind of before?
Yeah, I think this is just more exactly how they're going to see it. So, for example, if you've got
nice. If you could edit it, see what to say, edit on the fly for each customer, why not?
Yeah, you can see the PDF view, what they're going to see. You've got invoices ready, the email view, so what they're going to see, view details, pay now, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I feel like there's enough there, isn't there? Yeah, is it the most important thing to come along? For me, I'd still take recurring invoice. I'm being selfish here. I still would take.
I still think, we talked about, it's good that we've now got the new template, or we will eventually have the new template, sales invoice templates. But from what we had before, which has been turned off, the ability to build your own in Word and just tag them with I want this to go here and this to go here and this to go here. That was always better, right?
It was 100%, but they do have their way of changing this in the US, and I don't know if we're going to get it anytime soon in the UK. But if I go to where is it? I can't find it. Custom form styles. They do have the opportunity to. Oh, maybe they don't now. Okay, so there was an option to import.
Yep. They've been slowly turning that off across different. That was the same place where the Word was, wasn't it? Import from Word or DocX or whatever it was when you turned it on in QuickBooks Labs. And it stayed there for quite a long time in some clients, and some clients didn't have it at all. And they just went, oh, yeah, by the way, we turned it off. And we left it for some. And, I think that's obviously that's the current way of doing it. But that ability to get outside of the templates they give you, especially when you're moving from one system to another, one thing that people, we move, a lot of people go, we want our templates to say the same.
Well, this is what I'm trying to find, and I can't find it anywhere, but they definitely had, or they were definitely playing around with an import feature where you import a PDF. And the idea was use OCR technology to read that invoice and replicate it.
Yeah.
So that was the solution they were bringing in.
That'd be good.
I tried it didn't work. And it seems like they've got rid of it at the moment and gone back to but that's what it needs, right? Like you said, to bring that element in, to bring it over. Okay, cool. So the other bit that's in QuickBooks US and we don't have is this whole commerce area. I love this idea. I think this idea is going to be absolutely brilliant. Basically, you're bringing in the information from one SaaS directly into QuickBooks. So instead of having to go to the one SaaS platform and come back again, it's all going to be there waiting to go. And they're trying to push it more about orders and refunds and everything else coming through here. And then beautifully talks about payouts as well. So that's always been the pain point of e-commerce platforms, right? Is the payouts are always different to what's actually been sold because of fees and everything else. So the idea of bringing this all in here, having a much more streamlined solution, absolutely love this, right? I know, well, we don't know if this is ever coming. They've never really mentioned it. We can imagine the holdup is going to be VAT, because VAT is always a tricky bit to bake into these sort of it stops us just turning it on, right? There's a lot of work behind the scenes to get that to work. This is a priority
as well. We have a lot of commerce clients, so we've used A2X, we've used Dex Commerce, we've moved away from A2X because it was just not real, it wasn't real time. Because it's only doing based on payout. So if you it's fine if you're doing cash accounting, but
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
you're not getting that information straight away. So if, as long as cutting out that, again, app fatigue, it's one less thing you have to worry about, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's one less job you need to do. You can just connect it, let it get on with it. But
And I feel like
that side is probably slowing it down.
Yeah. And I feel like being in product means a lot more clients will just be able to get on with it themselves. Because a lot of the clients we're picking up is because they're trying to use these third-party solutions and just struggling to get their head around it.
Yeah.
And, it's great. Obviously I don't want to turn away work or anything, but a lot of the clients could have just got on with it themselves. I think if it was just built in just like this, and it could be an easier solution for them just to connect it when it's directly in QuickBooks. And I think for a lot of them, they almost expect it to be there as well. They're kind of almost shocked that they have to go to a third-party solution to make it work.
Well, that's things like the Stripe integration and stuff like that as well. Like, can you, having your Stripe account as a bank account?
Yeah,
you kind of want that as well. That needs to be in there as well.
100%.
Because most people, if they're going to connect to Shopify or something, they've probably got a Stripe account, right?
Well, that leads me to my other big section that they have. Sync your sales data with QuickBooks, where you've got Amazon Business, eBay, Shopify, Amazon Square, and there's a load more as well, where you can connect the app directly in here, and it brings there. Now, part of me feels like it confuses it a little bit by having it in the commerce section. Maybe it's because I'm in QuickBooks Advanced, and maybe commerce is only going to...
I would agree with you that it should not be anywhere. I'm not a fan of that transactions menu anyway. I'll be honest. I don't like the new menu. Like, it might just be me, but just
the new menu, as in
it don't be very good. But transactions and sitting under there is, even in the UK, I just don't like it. I just don't like that menu.
Oh, as in it just pops up here and then okay.
Well, no, as in what's under it. Like, why is chart of accounts under there? Like,
yeah.
Like, give me my bank as bank, and keep things separate. I'm a big fan, but that might be my sage days of going customer, suppliers, bank.
Yeah, no, I get.
I know where stuff is then, right?
And bank being such an important part, you kind of expect it to be on the left-hand panel anyway, don't you? I mean, that's the first thing.
Yeah, and then obviously you can bookmark it, but having that just like bank, that's all that's in there, right? Not chart accounts.
Exactly right. I mean, connecting Amazon to bring in your expenses, great, love it. I mean, that's your fetch functionality, isn't it? There and then.
If it works.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of issues with Amazon Business just generally with connecting to things like text fetch and stuff like that. Like the 2FA just goes around in a loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably what this is going to have the same problem with.
You can imagine it, yeah. Bringing Shopify sub and everything. Again, though, I'm a little bit confused why you've got Amazon seller account, and then you've also got the commerce area that brings in Amazon.
The reason why, because the marketing, so Amazon does it weird, don't they? If they do some ads with your sale, they do it once a month, but then they backdate the transaction to every single sale you've made in that period or something like that. It's very odd.
Yeah.
So it's probably to do with that.
Yeah. But why in QuickBooks have we got it in two different sections? Why is it under the commerce platform?
So I think commerce is your income.
Yeah, which I agree.
And then your transactions are your bits to take off of your income. That's why you've got the seller, because their stuff still gets expensed through the seller.
True. But then in commerce, they're still talking about payouts. So you'd expect them to record third-party fees.
Yeah, because the payout doesn't come through as a fee. The marketing on that, this is where Dex Commerce fell in this one job we had, isn't it? It couldn't pick up that Amazon seller charge like a bill. It was almost like a bill.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing there. They're going, well, app transactions is all those fees and your bills that are like extras.
Yeah. Like in eBay, they've got loans and everything, haven't they, now to deal with and all that sort of stuff. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. It's still confusing though, isn't it? It's still a confusing way of doing it.
think they need to, they need to probably have a tidy up when they bring it to the UK. Probably.
Yeah, definitely. And then the only other bit, if it's going to work for me, is under not tasks, workflows. Where's workflows gone? Oh, workflows all at the bottom now. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? In the workflow section now, they just have a much more enhanced version of the workflows. Like you can see it there. Look, I don't need to go into it. So they get a much more advanced version of how workflows using with multiple things like that, and bring it through. I imagine it's coming to the UK at the moment. Is this a priority to bring through? Do you know many that will? Is this going to start shifting the needle for advanced? Do you think?
I think we've touched on it many times before. If the receipt capture was better, and then yes, I think more people would use. Like, I jokingly just logged into our my advanced demo, and having said that, I didn't get any pop-ups. I've just got a pop-up. But you know, that approval side, lots of people have been using. We've set up a lot of people on Approval Max. Yeah, you know, it takes out that, doesn't it? But it's got to be up to a level of what Approval Max can do, which I think is what the improvements in the US will eventually do come to the UK.
Yeah, especially when they've got that if statement almost and going through from there. That's what it needs, right? And then you can really map it out.
That's the problem at the moment. Like, you can only go to a certain level and then it goes, oh no, that's it, we're done now.
Yeah. I'm still disappointed, and maybe it's because I've not played around with it enough, but they still can't get into it's just invoices, isn't it? So yeah, it's fair enough that if you create an invoice, do something, maybe send it, maybe put a reminder, all those sort of things, cool. But I still feel like there needs to be a way to not just look at invoice, but look at products within an invoice, so that if you or a customer, client of yours sells something, then do something. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still seems to be a disconnect of, well, it's great that you can kind of, like, here it's telling me we can update an invoice, but maybe it's not the invoice that we need to keep an eye on. It's if they update a particular product or service that's sold within that invoice. And it's that granular data we're still missing for these workflows, in my opinion.
I think in advance, that's where, that's where advance needs to come along. I've got, even like creating suppliers and things like that. Yes, I can say after a supplier is created, after a supplier is updated.
Yep.
Which is great, but tell me what's been updated. Not that someone's just updated it, then I'll need to go and, find it out.
Yeah. Interestingly,
I think some of it is live in the UK.
Yeah, I was going to say, interestingly, it's there. There it is.
It is, but it's not great. It's like, we've looked at it quite a lot. And also, if you're using, if you're using third-party solutions for your receipt capture, it bypasses this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, I've created a bill I've taken a snap in Dex, I've sent it to QuickBooks, and if I follow that workflow, it should go, okay, I've created a bill, therefore I'm going to go down this approval process. But it just completely bypasses that altogether.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Yeah. It actually, that is
like invoice multi-condition. We'd probably the one we'd use the most is the invoice multi-condition approval.
Yeah.
But you can only go to a certain point. You got 3, right?
Yeah, there's 3 there. Yeah, exactly.
I like more than that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, if they want an advance to be mid-market, then that's where it needs to improve more. Yeah.
Yeah. And do they need it to? Because one thing I always thought about these approvals and everything else, it's all well and good going as an email and go sent to a user, and that user could click it. But in the real world, don't we really need it to be going to the app, and then from the app you can agree it? It needs to be that
little bell icon.
Yeah. Needs to be that push notification, doesn't it? That tells someone, look, we can't go any further until you accept this. So, because even for me,
we do lots of bookkeeping where it might be we code it and then send it to the client and they approve it and it goes in. Well, the client doesn't want to log into QuickBooks or get 5 million emails. Just give me a push on an app that says, are you happy with this yet? Yes. Or
exactly. No. Can we pay this on your behalf, or whatever it needs to be? Or can we send this
payments? Yeah, that would be another flow eventually, wouldn't it? To do payments.
Yeah.
things we'd like to have, payments.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we already have the workflow one, so me telling that it's there, but yeah, okay.
It's just building that out more. I think they've got slightly more. They can do slightly more in the US, but it's not quite there at the moment.
I still think it needs third-party integration as well, doesn't it? It needs
Massively,
my favorite one of all time would be if you set up an invoice, then go and send the go cardless mandate automatically. Sorry, if you set up a customer, go send the, because you can do that in Xero, right? Like it's there. So if we, again, that would completely justify my payment to Advance just for that one feature, because if we can, if that can save me having to, or get someone to go in there, create the customer, then go into an invoice, send that little link over, get that over and everything else, if that can just be done automatically, it'll be a dream, right? So I still think that's what it needs. It just needs that third party integration to really make it work.
And then they need to look at the user rights as well around that.
That is a good point. Yeah. Which I think user rights is something they're looking at, right? I think they've heard that.
Yeah, they've been messing around with user rights over the last couple of weeks, I think, to try and get them more granular. And they've had like some degrees of success and some degrees of failure. I know they've got issues with time tracking only users, which is, you can have a time tracking user, but you can't track your time, which is really, really unhelpful. And I know they're looking at, like, you have like standard no access. Well, what does that mean? Like, but yeah, I think like some sort of approval, just approval only user is going to be required some, because some people might not have anything to do with running finance, but they might approve their department's invoices. Therefore, they need an approval only sort of role, that when they log in, they just see their own things.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It goes alongside those workflows.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Okay, cool. I think that's it. I think that's everything we had to cover today. I'm going to put you on the spot though, Simon. If you had a choice between recurring transactions within the customers, what was it one? The app section within the transaction area, the new fancy invoice screen, or the e-commerce platform, which one would you want to be top of that list?
E-commerce platform.
And a follow-up question, would you expect that to be in plus and above or advanced and above?
I'll go plus. I'd expect plus and above.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be an advanced feature.
Maybe in advance you have slightly more integration with the stock area.
That's a clever idea. Yeah.
Because like most people at maybe at the plus level would just be using Shopify and have their stock levels in Shopify. But yeah, advanced, you expect it to be more ingrained, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And would you want it to have any interaction with that workflow area? Would
you need to? Maybe. Like,
again, it has to be on a granular level of if they sold a particular item, right? Like that's what the workflow would be.
It needs to go down to the product level.
Yeah.
And then you can start pinging out alerts for stock levels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Someone's bought this, so we need to go and do a PO or whatever and get that done. It's those sort of things, isn't it? And I mean, again, selfishly as an accounting firm, just that idea that if we sold a QuickBooks license next week, then let's have a workflow that tells us to go and provision that QuickBooks license. It's those little things that, we've got other solutions that can do it, but actually the source of truth should be that invoice, right? And I've always said that, like my invoice list is my most important database I'll ever have, because that's what I've committed to provide to my client, right? So the more notifications we can get, the more provisions and workflows and stuff going from that, for me, that's the important thing. But cool. Brilliant. All right. Well, I think we've basically, we just need to go and request QuickBooks to bring over the recurring thing straight away, because I feel like that's an easy win, and then hopefully the VAT doesn't hold back the other items too much longer. Simon, how can people find you? Where can they look for you?
They can find me on LinkedIn for anything business related. That is my one social media. Yeah, that's it.
That's good. Awesome. And that's it. That is it. Thank you, everyone who has come and chatted in today. Kirsty, last question from her was, Stripe, is Cinder any good? Spotting on Elvo. To be honest, I don't use Cinder anymore. Yeah, they are good. But yeah, we don't have any clients on them. We're using A2X still for a couple of clients, but most of them are using the QuickBooks integration, and we just make it work one way or another. There's some manual bits that we have to do to make it 100% work, but most people it's working. There's an Intuit connector, so yeah, their clients are happy, which is important. But yeah, from a Stripe point of view, we just manually put it in and out these days because, again, Cinder was broken a little bit for us when we were doing it. There's another one called something else. I'll
there's a few, quite a few now, man. So
yeah, but that is one that should really just be coming straight in, like you've already said, isn't it? So the expectation should be there. Right, that is it. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on this session, the last of this current one. We're going to revamp and keep an eye out for how that revamp's going to go. Any questions in the meantime, make sure that you reach out to either myself or Simon, and we'll see you very soon on the next one. Simon, anything you want to plug, anything that people should look out for, anything like that?
I'm doing a charity bike ride on Saturday.
There we are.
1,500 kilometers, as you do. So I'll be putting something on LinkedIn for people to sponsor to raise money for St Giles. There you go. It's a selfless plug.
Definitely.
Yeah, 1,500 miles from Isle of Man to Inverness. So I'm going to raise some money while doing it as well.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, definitely get yourself. Keep an eye out for that one. Go from there. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Simon. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next month for another exciting episode of QuickBooks Labs. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
As an accountant, I've got something to say. I'd like to introduce you to a whole new way to help small business clients. It's easy as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. QuickBooks Online. Accounting you can customize. Just sit back and relax. It works with over 300 apps. It can sync up with PayPal or Shopify. And with Fathom you can analyze. With Fundbox you'll get paid instantly, while Stitch Labs tracks your inventory. QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online. Can save money and time.